Good morning, everyone. It is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and it is a glorious Thursday. It is December the 7th. Fry is doing typical Fry things. I'm not sure, worrying the cat, inspecting his bed. What do you have, sir? That's a negative, Knight Rider. I'm gonna need you to drop the pretty light. Uh, sir. Okay, we got that taken care of. As per usual, or for this day, Mondayest Thursday ever. Welcome, Veilhammer Media, and great job, Veilhammer Media, doing all the audio graphical things to make unlistenable trials listenable now, because I have no idea how you do it. I'm guessing wizardry and magic, possibly, maybe an unholy bond with, whatever entity you want, but they are glorious and it's great. So awesome possum job. I went full vintage today because you know what? I don't know how many of you saw the sentencing for Gareth Prison Pocket, or Purse House as he used to be called, yesterday, but the testimony of, and I wish I knew her name. I will have to look up the collective intelligence of all of the internets today to find out, but the courageous blonde woman who got up and testified about how Amy changed her life, Dr. Amy Harwick changed her life, reminded me of a story of how another very strong woman reached out to me when she was still struggling with stuff, but she paid it forward and she helped a struggling 24-year-old, Mo, at some of her darkest times. And, you know, Dr. Amy Harwick should be remembered for doing that. And if I can do nothing else with my work, I figured I could put on some red lipstick and get out some of my vintage stuff. And, anytime I can wear a snood out in public, I mean, y'all, the looks I got in my Walmart. So, good morning, JKD Buck. Good morning, Veilhammer Media. Good morning, Snivels. Good morning, Kim Farhan. Good morning. Our first story today: a UK TV anchor was caught flipping the bird right into the camera live on air. It's not her fault. She had taken a small purple pill and it gave her finger, a stiffy. It's not her fault. It lasted more than 4 hours. She should have gone to her local, oh gosh, what did they call them in, Britain? A&E, I think? Accidents and emergencies? Look, I don't know if I love watching, this program. Is called One Every Minute. It's about the birth and labor department over in the UK. I love it. All the midwives, they may or may not be responsible for me possibly having Bakewell tarts in my Amazon cart right now and deliberating about whether I should buy them because they are all the carbs. But they combine, cherries and almonds and fondant in a small package, and they look amazeballs. So, good morning, Peace Peony 2, as I derail completely off the topic as per usual. Anyhoozle, let's get back to the story. As seen on TV, a British television anchor, or I think they call them hosts over there, was seemingly unprepared to report the news as she was caught live flipping the middle finger right at television in a now viral clip on Wednesday. BBC host Miriam Mashiri. Look, I do not mean to mispronounce your name, ma'am. I simply suck at it. One of the network's chief presenters showed off her third digit for the world to see as she was about to present the noontime news. Look, she was getting ready for a Newsy News nooner. Those are a little looser. Look, I understand as a media presenter myself, semi-professional, I totally get it. It's not her fault. Besides, that's not even a bad sign over there. It's simply she didn't do the victory sign. As the traditional BBC countdown descended to 0, the screen transitioned to Mashari with her head tilted, eyes wide open, bearing a large smirk and displaying the unmistakable, uh, "Go love yourself." She was just encouraging self-love, which I think, is really just self-care at this point, isn't it? Good morning, Annabelle. It was only a matter of milliseconds before Mashari realized what happened as she quickly composed herself and began her segment. Live from London, this is BBC News. Oh no, Ofcom is going to get her? Mashari began then reading the top story of the weekly show, Prime Minister's questions about the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson apologizing for the pain and loss suffered in the UK during the virus of unspecified origins and unknown, you know, variants. Look, people are human. Who hasn't made funny faces when they think they're not gonna be caught? Give this woman a break. The unintended caught on camera moment did not go unnoticed as hundreds of social media users took their crack at Mashari's misfortune. Looks like someone had to make it to work without their morning coffee, one person commented on X. I have the same expression hearing anyone from the BBC, another one said. I'll cut her some slack and assume she was flipping off the cameraman, a third comment read. Sir, there is nothing for you on my desk, I assure you. Fry is diligently making sure there are no snacky snacks for him anywhere in this room. It's a task. One commenter even decided to grade Moshari's performance, giving the journalist an 8 out of 5, or no, an 8.5 out of 10 for her improper behavior, which is great. Centering a very good finger length, approximate straightness, a and level, so very good facial expression bonus. Several users took time to meme Mashari as screen grabs of her and her now infamous finger accompanies is accompanied by jokes and puns. Yeah, I had no idea there was so much drama in the Young Thug case. I think I was spending quality, wife and husband time trying to figure out how to set up my mobile Mo station out in the, fireplace room where I used to sit, and, Mr. Mo was trying to explain all these computer components to me, and I kind of just told him, "Sir, I I I am beyond understanding at this moment, so can we just sit and watch the fire?" So we just sat and watched the fire, and I tried to explain the case to him, and he's like, "I Can we not talk about cases?" So we both compromised. Marriage. Welcome, Wolfram. I did try to explain to Mr. Mo how you are, Fry's father. He did not quite get it. Um, Mr. Mo is a bit confused about everything I do, but he just smiles and nods and lets me babble on, so it is a lovely marriage. Which, seems to work for us. Sorry, one second. I had one that slept in, and I thought I was going to run her in after I finished the stream, but I think, she has decided she is not feeling well, so I am just going to call the attendance office, and I cannot multitask. Something about texting, and then I'll end up texting when I'm writing, and it's ridiculous, and then I end up talking to it's like Dave's talk to text. I really cannot do it. I just stink all of the stinkage after. Oh, so in other news, um, my family may have we may have set ourselves up for failure by getting, years back, a girl elf, a girl Santa Narc, and a boy Santa Narc. So, elves on the shelves. And, I finally found where our elves on the shelves were this year, 7 days late. So, at 4:45 AM, when I woke up this morning, hearing the rustlings of the young feral one, I had to haul, okay, with the peg leg too, haul ass and, like, pitch their, little felt bodies into the tree. So, the young feral ones, the young boys, have been up since 5 AM. But can we talk about whoever invented the Santanarcs and the ridiculousness of these Facebook parents and all of this stuff? No, no, ma'am. Yes, Wolfram went out for cigarettes and never came back. Fry is looking for you. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, Dennis. And Annabelle, if I didn't say good morning, good morning. All the squirrels are going. I went into full tangent in story mode. Let us continue to the next story. There will be no deal from prosecutors, but they will also not seek the death penalty against a man who allegedly murdered his husband and then raised money for the funeral on GoFundMe. Prosecutors will not seek the death penalty against a man who allegedly killed his estranged husband. The Fifth Judicial State Attorney's Office in Florida made the announcement in court on Tuesday, according to the Ocala or Oscala Star Banner. Look, we really need to start, passing. Look, if I'm president, we're making everything Smithville. If I can't pronounce it, it's not a name anymore. Good morning, Sarah Adams. Herbert Kurt Swilly, 55, will nonetheless have to spend life in prison without the possibility of parole if convicted for murdering Timothy Floyd Smith, 59. Marion County deputies claim that sometime between the night of March 23rd and the early morning of March 24th, Swilly drugged his husband with a massive amount of antihistamine. So basically, he Benadrylled him up to the. It's like the Tolt case. I don't remember if you guys remember that. It was the Disney case. I definitely want to cover that one because that man was such a giant D-bag. And I like cases where we have a giant D-bag because the cases where you almost kind of can see a gray area and then the jury still convicts. I, well, he gets, yeah, he's getting bigger and bigger. For a Pomsky, he's quite large. He's the world's largest Pomsky. He's a giant. Uh, then choked him to death with an unknown ligature and fractured his neck. Why? Just why? Let someone go. Do not unalive someone if you're not together anymore. I have never understood that. Swilly then drove the body from their home to a nearby apartment they'd maintained, according to the authorities. He allegedly put his husband's remains inside, staged a fake crime scene, and used household cleaning agents to attempt to destroy evidence. Quote, Swilly returned to their residence and drove Timothy's vehicle to the apartment where he left it, deputies wrote. Swilly then walked back to their residence where he accessed their Ring camera application. Investigators later learned that surveillance videos from that night weren't present. Then a few hours later, Swilly drove to a landfill where he dropped off what appeared to be 2 carpets from their residence before going about his day. Investigators claim that Smith, who suffered domestic abuse at Swilley's hand, was close to getting a new job in another country, or no, another county, sorry, not a country, and would be moving there without his husband. Also, the defendant stood to profit from Smith's death as the beneficiary of a total of, I feel like I have to do that chapter insurance, you know, dance, because of course there was a life insurance policy. In various public statements, deputies said they had looked on March 25th to do a welfare check on Smith. The day after he did not show up to work, they found his body at the couple's apartment. After Smith's death, Swilley raised more than $2,200 on a now defunct GoFundMe campaign to pay for his husband's funeral. Publicly, the case was a mystery, going unsolved for months, but deputies called out Swilley in August, saying he was a suspect and claiming he offered through an attorney that he would cooperate only if given immunity from prosecution in his husband's death. Well, you're a if you laid hands on your husbands, you're a jerk. So, no. Authorities described Swilley as initially acting cooperative, but his many details in his preliminary statement were, quote, not soft, false, self-serving, or contradicted by other evidence. Yeah, that's not how it works. You can't say, like, look, I'll confess, but you can't punish me. Because then Donna would wanna do that too. Donna Adelson is like, "Wait, how did I get that? How did I get that?" I would also and Sarah Boone is like, "Your Honor, as an honor student, I would also like that plea." Um, Rusty Shackelford would also like to put in an Albert plea, if you will. What the actual heck? S Yes, I do. It just requires me to put my hair up, and I've yes, yes, I do. Whenever she puts out a new letter, I have to get all of her letters where she's degrading her husband, but this is ridiculous. I think I have a stream. You'll have to search my videos. I have a stream where I did all of her letters as her, but even at the as a method actress, I I do wear a bra. Look, I have some lines. It's, uh, some lines I refuse to cross. Um, so anywho, look, sir, if it's proven that you laid hands on your husbands, you can go straight to wherever Gareth prison purse is gonna live, because I don't care. But, you know, you are presumed innocent right now, and we will await your trial, and I will happily watch it. Because you know what? You made vows to your husband, and if you didn't honor them, then look, sir, I am all about keeping your promises. In a happier thing of news, and maybe I am just, like, all of the hormones or Facebook is just getting to me. Y'all, there needs to be a warning on Facebook. Look, I am telling you what, Facebook needs to have a warning day. Like, if you are feeling hormonal and they are gonna try to catch you with these, like, puppy falls down a well and then gets rescued because its kitten friend, finds a police officer, like, they need to give you a Kleenex warning. I'm just telling you what, because okay, I'm telling you what, this get y'all's tissues. I don't know if it's the last couple days. Me and Sal had a moment yesterday with the Amy Harwick thing. Look, it it just might be a thing. A teacher shared her students' simple Christmas wishes. Strangers sent in hundreds of gifts. Good morning, this way up. For the last decade, staffers at Desert Pines High School in Las Vegas have helped fulfill holiday wishes for students. Quote, "We have a lot of kids who are in the foster system. We have a lot of kids who are living in poverty." Sherry Guy, an English teacher at the high school, tells, uh, "Same. Feelings are weird, Sal. I agree. Hello, Wolfram again." Sherry Guy, an English teacher at the school, tells Today.com these kids are facing enormous stress out of the classroom. So each year, the school runs a program called Wishmas, where students write down a gift they would like to open on Christmas morning. They're also encouraged to share why it's important to them. The faculty and community then work together to grant those wishes. This season, the initiative went viral thanks in part to Guy. Guy shared an emotional video on TikTok about the Wish program in November. In a clip, Guy wiped away a tear as she read some of the requests from nearly 3,000 students, which included a bag of Taki chips, quote, so I won't feel hungry, and slippers to protect me from the cold. Guy, who was sobbing at this point, it was a voodoo dolls. I was putting pins in it. Sorry, y'all. I lost I lost my other thing where I was putting the pins in, so, quilting went wrong. Encouraged viewers to message her or comment if they were interested in helping grant wishes. Quote, maybe spread this around, she said. Maybe we could do something to try to make some of these things happen because there's no way, even if all the teachers, we pick one student, we couldn't cover everything. There's so many students and they don't want a lot. The internet did its thing and packages began pouring in from people across the country, bringing Guy to tears once again. We have well over 300 wishes granted, which is amazing, Guy tells, the country or told Today.com. She said that 950 students are participating in Wishmas program this year, and all the gifts must be distributed before December 15th. A few of the seniors are asking for a yearbook because they can't afford it. I'm looking at the spreadsheet right now, and one kid asked for help paying for their cap and gown for graduation, Guy said. We have a student who asked for a textbook called Lectures on Physics because he wants to be an astrophysicist. Guy read a few more off her spreadsheet. I would like to give my mom a gift. She likes to shop at Walmart. I'm asking for a pair of headphones. It's important to me because my younger brother has been asking for them and I can't afford them. I would like a Wingstop gift card. It will give me free food for the day. Guy teaches in a program called Jaguar Academy in Desert Pines High School. The students in Jaguar Academy are considered at risk of not meeting academic or social expectations. Guy says some of her kids are on probation for one teeny mistake. Welcome, Spirit Matter. One of the most incredible thing about Wishmas is these kids are realizing that they are loved not just by staff at the school, but by strangers around the country who care about them and believe in them, she says. There's a sign hanging in Guy's classroom that says, one person can change a world. It used to say, one person can change the world, but I changed it to one person can change a world because it's not about changing the whole world. That overwhelms us. She says, but if you can think about what can I do for just one person, it's about changing a world. And if we could all do that, just imagine what our society could turn into. And that's a really good message. And I think, you know, it really ties into why I'm wearing what I'm wearing. I love to do vintage pinup stuff. But, I think Dr. Amy Harwick lived that life. I think it was shown. Again, I need to find out that lady's name. But the blonde woman she helped, the one of my very, very good friends who helped me when I was a young Mo, really struggling at 24 with 2 kids, as a new single mom, lost, and she was, struggling herself, but she took time to help me out, and hopefully one day I can return the favor, and, you know, that's why I always say, say one kind thing when you're out because, random acts of kindness, they really mean a lot. I've had a lot of times where, people have no idea what the things that they've said have meant to me, and it's really nice. So, hopefully they get all of their wishes, fulfilled, I'll probably try to look up, and if it's within my means, I will try to at least, um, grant one of those wishes today, hopefully, if I can figure out how to get into the thing. It looks like I can click on it, and I can figure it out. Yes, it is in fact idiot proof. I should be able to do this. So, in our next story, so I can move on to that, the FBI will exhume a body of a murder victim profiled on Netflix docuseries The Keepers. I need to look at this docuseries. I love true crime. I'm sure you are shocked. The FBI is set to exhume the body of a murder victim whose case was profiled on a Netflix true crime docuseries, The Keepers. Joyce Helen Maliki, 20, had gone missing 4 days after a slain nun, Sister Kathy Sesnick, 26. Maliki's brother, Daryl, said that an FBI investigator told him that they are tentatively scheduling his sister's exhumation for December 14th, according to the Baltimore Banner. It is unclear what the investigators specifically hope to find. I mean, generally, I'll have to ask, that's a good thing to ask Dave, if they have to have to exhume. Where is my sticky pad? If they have to have a specific thing. When they go to before the judge, or if they say just in furtherance of the case. Because I know that a judge generally has to order it, or do they just go to the family? That would be an interesting legal thing to try to ask an actual legal law lawyer. Sesnick had lived at a rectory for the St. Clemens Catholic Church. Maleki's family lived 2 blocks away, according to Daryl, but he said he did not necessarily think there was a connection between his sisters and Sesnick's death. Oh, judge's orders. There you go. The Keepers profiled the allegations that Sesnick was murdered after the students at a now closed all-girls Catholic school where she taught Archbishop Calo High School told her about them being abused or SA'd. Ah. Wonderful. The collective knowledge of, the internet is always great. And hey, I thought about being a mortician because of my limited peopling skills. The abuse allegations center around Reverend A. Joseph Maskill and Reverend Neil Magnus. Students said the men used the confessional to target vulnerable girls and brought them into their offices for what were supposed to be counseling sessions. Maskill and Magnus allegedly drugged the students in the abuse. The Maryland office of the Attorney General said that 39 men and women have reportedly brought claims against Maskill. And look, I'm going to guess this is Cano, but I'm sure there is some sort of weird English thing that is going to make this something that is not pronounced the way I'm saying it. And other schools and parishes where he worked. No one has been arrested for that abuse, and both priests have died, nor has anyone been arrested for Sesnick and Malik's disappearance and murders. Malik went missing on November 11th, 1969, after going to Christmas shopping at Hardendale Mall, according to the Banner. Hunter's body was found 2 days later at Fort Meade. Her hands had been bound and she had been strangled and stabbed in the throat. Sesnick was found dead in a wooded area in January 1970, but were they unalived in the same way? Hmm, interesting. I wonder if there I wonder if there wasn't a really thorough investigation done and they're wondering if there was similar unalivings. I am not sure. Uh, in other news, why? Just why? I spent $175,000 on most painful surgery ever to grow 6 inches. Not where you think, Salbert. Manlets, worry no more. You can spend nearly 200K to grow 6 inches. His height was his Achilles heel. A Colombian man spent nearly $200,000 to undergo the most painful surgery ever to ditch his 5'8" frame and reach new heights. Instagram star, I'm gonna say Jefferson Coseo, 29, revealed that he underwent lower limb lengthening surgery to stretch his legs an additional 6 inches to become 6 feet tall. Quote, "I am not a dwarf, but I think you're supposed to call them little people. Nor am I the tallest," Cosio said in Spanish in a video posted to Instagram. "Yes, my legs are pretty, but I hate them. I am self-conscious like almost all human beings with most parts of my body, and I have a couple 100 million pesos to use here to change it." Uh, Cosio, who boasted more than 2 million followers across Instagram and TikTok, estimates that he spent between 200 million and 700 million Colombian pesos for the treatment, and the equivalent of roughly 50,000 to $175,000. Yeah, basically, they take your not your femur, your shin bone, and they lengthen it. This is generally done to people with dwarfism. This is not something that generally normal height height people do. They essentially break your bone, put you in traction, and slowly, you know, grind or slowly move the traction part apart so that, the bone is forced to grow longer. The problem is that nerves do not grow longer. Nerves do not stretch. They generally do this when you are younger because nerves are likely to stretch a little bit, easier when you're younger. This is this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But you're 6 feet tall now, sir. You realize your kids are still gonna be short, right? Okay. The excruciating and intense surgery involves breaking a patient's bone, inserting a metal rod, and using an external device to slowly lengthen the gap multiple times a day. Quote, "As the space between the ends of the bones opens up, the body continues to produce new tissue in the gap until the desired length of bone has been generated, according to the Hospital for Special Surgery." Well, yes. Everything is a single entendre with me. I am quite literal. Specialists typically separate the bones for a total of 1 millimeter per day, meaning Cosio painfully lengthened his legs for 152 days or 6 months before achieving his new 6-foot frame. I'm sorry. The next several months are filled with physical therapy treatments so the patients can become accustomed to walking with their new legs. Uh, Cosio admitted to his followers that the surgery was purely for aesthetic purposes. Quote, "2 years ago, I had an issue with my legs that I don't really want to talk about because it is very personal. But one of the things that had the most impact on me was wanting to do this leg stretching. Yeah, normal. Just, everyday things, what you do. He's an attractive dude. You don't have to be tall. I know women say that but it doesn't matter really. Again, be nice, be smart, be not a douchebag. Look, there are a lot of crazy gals out there. I'm not gonna lie to you, guys that are dating now. I would never want to date now. But as a mom, I'm trying to raise girls that are not insane. I am trying to send out the chicks that are not nuts. That's all I can do, y'all. I am sorry. He rattled off conspiracies surrounding his mysterious leg problems, including that a street pharmacist severely broke them after finding out he had fooled around with his girlfriend, but did not disclose the real reason he pursued the expensive and painful surgery. In an Instagram video, his surgeon ensured that the influencer would be able to return to his normal life after healing from the surgery, including walking, exercising, and jumping. He appeared happy with his new height and told followers he didn't plan on undergoing the knife a second time to grow even taller. What the actual dingle hoppers? The social media star is one of many who have shelled out thousands to grow extra inches. This is now a trend. For the love of all that is holy. Brian Sanchez, a 33-year-old mortgage broker from Georgia, spent more than $100,000 on a Turkish leg lengthening surgery to add 7 inches to his height, despite already being 6 feet tall. Sir, have we gone full South Park? I want to be a dolphin. Yes, pudding way. I mean, my first husband and I were he was maybe 5'11" on a good day, and I'm 5'6". For the love of all that is holy. Yes, Mr. Mo is, 5'6", but if Mr. Mo was 5'4", look, it is what it is. I for the if Mr. Mo was 5'4" and he told me he was gonna go spend $200,000 to gain 6 inches, well, first of all, I would be giggling on the floor because I would make up all the five-year-old jokes about that. But second of all, no. No. Moses Gibson, a 5'5", 41-year-old from Minnesota, paid $75,000 to add 3 inches to his height in 2016. In March, he dropped another $98,000 to add another 2 inches. Look, it's not like I can do math a whole lot in my head. Just tell me how tall you are in centimeter. Look, dudes, just switch to metric and chicks will have no idea how hell tall you are in metrics, okay? Just tell them you are 179 centimeters tall and let them figure that out. By the time they've, taken off of Tinder and tried to figure out centimeters to inches, they will have lost their attention span. Good morning, Twisted Logic. Yeah, it it take advantage of, this new generation's lack of attention span and squirrels. Just switch to metrics, for the love of all that is Cheetos. Uh, for something in EU's neck of the wood, authorities have arrested an Arizona man in connections with a deadly 2022 Australian, shooting. So there you go. Didn't think I'd find anything that went to EU's neck of the woods. I know he doesn't look amazingly proportional for having added 6 inches. Oh my god, there is no way to make that. that not a hilarious? I know he is gonna be so screwed. Slip-ons only. Yeah, apparently she is. Janet Reno, alive and well. Okay, Sal, what? Arizona Man? I'm getting to it. I'll get to it. I have you know the rules. I don't read these articles before I mean, I just look at the headlines like most Americans, and then I read them with you. An Arizona man was arrested last week in connection with a religion-motivated attack in Australia last year with ties to a, quote, "Christian end of days extremist ideology," authorities say. Interesting. Sal's like, no." Sal's like, Need to get peroxide." I'm a blonde now. I have no idea what you're talking about." Law enforcement arrested a man identified as Donald Day, 58, near Herber Overgaard in northeastern outskirts of Phoenix last Friday. Authorities say that Day sent alleged suspects in a mass unaliving in Willambia, Australia, end of days messages for months before the unaliving. The alleged attackers, Gareth Stacy and Nathaniel Train, fought law enforcement in a gunfight for hours, unaliving two officers and a bystander before they were eventually taken out themselves on December 12th, 2022. Look, I don't know if Gareth might be a cursed name right now. I don't know. Quote, "We know that the offenders executed a religiously motivated, bad guy attack in Queensland," Queensland Police Assistant Commissioner Cheryl Scanlon said during a news conference in Australia. Quote, "They were motivated by a Christian extremist ideology and subscribed to the broad Christian fundamentalist belief system known as premillennialism." Well, I'm all for premillennials, but did he have nicotine? These are questions we must be answered. And I think everyone's kind of okay with premillennial. Look, look, I am right on the cusp of being a millennial. I will out myself, but I identify as a Gen Xer. Mr. Mo makes fun of me all the time. He's like, "You millennial," and I'm like, "I identify as a Gen Xer, so be quiet." A Tucson, Arizona grand jury indicted Day for interstate threats connected to comments posted online in December 2022, allegedly inciting violence in connection with the shooting. Now, here's where I don't well, look, I'm to the point where I am just skating under that thing where they're like, "Are you under 40?" I'm like, "Hells yes," for another, ish. I'm like, "You better effing" I'm like, "You better effing look at my card." For personal safety reasons and, the fact that I've already given my personal identifiers to the Kenyan prince that is going to give me money, I'm not gonna identify my real age online, but let's just say I'm fairly close to 40-ish. But I am at that point where I'm like, "You better effing check my freaking ID." But I'm very close to like, "Hey, hey, asshole, come here." I'm right between looking at ELF and anti-aging stuff and being bitter about both. Okay, let's see. But I don't understand how unless he sent them actual, like, the anarchist cookbook and how to make things, I don't understand how it's very sad that this happened. I wish people wouldn't take their beliefs and make him, insanity. But how is him sending, internet anything's motivation? I guess I'm gonna need actual it's I'm sure the grand jury had more evidence, so I'm not gonna doubt the grand jury. Yeah, Laura well, yeah, I wanna cover the Lori Daybell, uh, Arizona trial because you know what? I feel really bad for Charlie Vallow. That man was the one that was trying to blow the whistle, say, "Look, something is not right. This woman has gone full cray cray." And she was able to smile and do her little pretty he thing, and no one believed him. And this poor man was like, "Heifer says she is a god. Would no one listen to me?" But yeah. There are no plans to extradite him to Australia. At the time, Queensland Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll said it was, quote, "the largest loss of life from a single incident in the area in recent memory." Australian authorities identified those killed as neigh neighbor Alan Dare, Constable Rachel McCrow, and Constable Matthew Arnold in a rural residence in Queensland. So I'm very sorry to those who lost their lives. Especially with the holidays coming up, I know that it's just look, even years later, and especially the first holiday after you lose someone, there are no words. It sucks all the donkey balls, and I'm so sorry. Uh, you guys are out to get me. Sal, do not use Tinder. Woman set Tinder date on fire. Yes, that's right. Fire, fire after he refused to give her more than $60 to help her car trouble, police said. Maybe don't go on Tinder. Maybe there needs to be a new dating site where you get a background. That's it. Mo's new dating site. Mo and Sal, we're going into business. It's a dating site with people's police records added. So, you see someone, and you're like, "Hey, this is a pretty cute cutie," and then it's like Carfax for people, and you're like, "Oh, okay, here, wait, I get Tinder," and she set her on fire. I should not be laughing, this is a terrible, terrible thing, I'm a horrible person. No, Carfax for people, oh my god, Sal, marketable idea. I don't know if that's a crime, though. Not sure if accessing people's prison record any whoozle, we need to talk about to a lawyer, but this is a marketable idea. Carfax for people. Instant instant dating thing. As a mom, I totally look it up every time my daughters go out. I know, I totally missed that piece, Peony. You are on top of it. You win the internet for today. It will be packaged up. I wouldn't look into the dark web. Look, keep that box closed 6 to 8 weeks. All right. A Florida woman, I think we need this. Because we always end on Florida woe or woe man or man has been charged with attempted murder after police in Miami say she tried to set her Tinder date on fire in a hotel parking lot. Destiny Lene Johnson, 25, was arrested on December 4th, a week after the explosive episode occurred outside a Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Miami on November 25th. She is now charged with attempted murder, aggravated battery causing great bodily harm, and arson, according to arrest records reviewed by Law and Crime on Wednesday. Johnson met the victim for the first time on November 16th when he picked her up from the Holiday Inn. Miami-Dade police reportedly allegedly told Miami ABC affiliate WP LG the interaction went smoothly. The man said they smoked some devil's lettuce, as you do. You know, you're a little nervous for your first date. You don't want to say anything weird, so why wouldn't you just drive and smoke something that makes you completely weird? You know, not like that's a terrible thing. Just drive under the influence because, of course. Good morning, Bobby. And then later he dropped her off there. Well, the devil's lettuce, so, marijuana, the little bit of the Cheech and the Chong. Now, I don't know if that's all they smoked. I don't know what it was laced with, but allegedly just the THC. A little over a week later, on November 25th, however, police say the victim told them Johnson, who repeatedly went by the name Teeny on Tinder, called him close to 5 a.m. and asked to meet at the hotel once more. No. No. The man obliged, and when he showed up, he said Johnson approached the vehicle carrying a jug filled with what appeared to be gasoline. She has crazy eyes. Y'all? No. She allegedly told him her car needed fixing and she needed money to help. The police said the man remarked to Johnson he did not appreciate being asked to come to the hotel if it was just for money, but he gave her $60 to help out anyway. He was going to be a nice guy. And I'm sure he was thinking she was calling for a different reason. WPLG reported. That's when the woman allegedly grew irate and started pouring gasoline onto the passenger side of the man's car. As he tried to escape, Johnson quickly used a lighter to ignite the liquid. The man told the police moments before this happened, Johnson yelled, "You guys are out to get me." The man managed to escape from the car, but not before he was temporarily on fire. As he rolled around on the asphalt to put himself out, his car was consumed by the fire. Nothing good happens after midnight. No. Holy good night, nurse. What is going on here? Police said the man admitted to pulling a firearm on Johnson at this point and aiming at her in self defense, fearful of what she would try next, setting him on fire again. But when she got the gun, she fled inside the hotel and asked someone at the front desk to call 911. Well, of course. I mean, she was in danger. Sure, the police came up and arrested this man. Officers responded hours later. Hours later? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And found Johnson, who is described as a naked African American female with burns, found stating that she blew up a vehicle. As you do on a second date. She went full waiting to exhale, and he didn't even cheat on her yet. WPLG reported Johnson was treated for burns and cleared by the local hospital before arresting happened. Well, apparently she got fed and, dropped in water after midnight, after Mr. Miyagi told him not to repeatedly. How do we treat mugwise? What That was my biggest thing about the whole, Gremlins show. I turned around and told my mom, I think I was, like, 7, and I said, "Mom, the man told him, like, 4 different times not to do these things. How is he so dumb? Can no one follow the rules?" My mom was like, "You are the oldest 7-year-old I've ever met in my entire life." I was 7 going on 53. I was like, "Get off my lawn. I will take your Frisbee, and I will throw it over the lawn. I will not give it back. You kids." I was like, "He told him like 17 times, don't feed them after midnight." I was like, "If you're in bed at 9, none of this and I was like, "And he did it again when Gremlins 2?" Like, we learned no lessons? Even then, plot holes all the time. It is unclear where Johnson lives or if she has obtained an attorney. Court records show she was booked on Monday. Bail was set at $1,000. I'm sorry, $10,000 per charge. Sorry. Look, like I said, I have been up since 4. The boys were when I say I was hauling my, limping self out to, like, literally throw the, Santa Narcs into the tree before the youngest, most feral woke up all the brothers to hunt them and make sure they came from the North Pole since they got lost like the Donner Party. Um, you know, it's usually my quiet time to get stories. It's just broken my entire morning schedule, so I'm a little bit off this morning. I'm like, "Okay, it's my little routine." Yeah, the Donner story was very, very sad. I shouldn't joke about it. But those are the morning stories today. We have a beautiful Christmas story. I am going to try to find a link to see if they have anything left that needs to be donated in the Las Vegas thing, if I can do that online. I have coined this year the year of the Mondays. I have surrendered to this year just kind of being an off year, but I am looking for this year has been both off and amazing, and I am looking forward to next year being a fresh start with fresh new attitude, and I am hoping everyone else is too. Remember today that, a simple act of kindness that maybe you don't realize might change someone's life. So just try to think of that when you're out and about. Maybe compliment someone on their shoes. Maybe just check on an old friend you haven't thought about in a while. These holidays times are a little bit tough. We've all been a little disconnected these past couple years. Make Make sure to check on people, make sure you're doing okay. If you're not doing okay, reach out to people. It is not a sign of weakness. Look, it has been a total poop show of the last couple of years. So if you are not having an easy time, you know what? Reach out. It's not a weakness at all. Just do it. You'll feel better. So have a lovely rest of your day. I will try to see you guys for Newsy News Nooner, but I will be honest, I've got a lot of errands to run and, the attack of the laundries, but hopefully I will have my, fireside news station set up, so we will have nightly Newsy News by the fireside, and I hopefully will have the camera set up so you can have a fireside view. In theory, I have gotten all the things ready to do that, so Mr. Mo can set them up. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you later. Get the video going, stop chitter chattering, and